Gentleman, dentist, gambler, and gunfighter. This is the year 1878, Dodge City, Kansas. Ladies and gentlemen, Doc Holliday.
How you doing there, sir?
Pretty good.
Very good. Y'all look like you just seen a ghost.
Almost.
Almost. So you got some extra towels there. I might need one here in a minute. So, y'all read these newspapers, do you? Some of you younger folks out there may read them dime library novels. Some of the things they write in these newspapers, them dime library novels. I just received one here. Came from a friend of mine down in Tombstone, Arizona Territory. He says, Doc, so you got to read what they're writing about here in the newspapers. And I quote, Doc Holliday, the deadly dentist, kills 5 more in Utah. I had never stepped foot in Utah in my life. Things they write in these newspapers. They don't get my name spelled right. It is Holliday with an I. I was not born in Virginia or Kentucky. I was born in the great state of Georgia. Now you see, before I was born, my mother and father had one child, of course, previous to my birth. Her name was Mary Eleanor. Well, poor Mary Eleanor, she succumbed to the fever and she died when she was but a mere 3 months of age. My mother was very upset about this. Of course, she did not know about having any more children. Of course, it was not long. My father did make sure that she was in a family way again. Just so happened that my father, Mr. Henry Burroughs Holliday, had a brother. His name was John also. He was a very fine medical doctor and surgeon. My Uncle John told my mother not to worry. He would take care of her through this time period and he would deliver the baby when they come due. Anyway, pardon me, a little lung problem, you don't know here. Anyway, the time was getting short. My mother knew that the time was very near. So my father put my mama in the wagon there in Griffin, Georgia. Took her the short ride over to Fayetteville where my Uncle John was. The very next day, my Uncle John presented to my mama a brand new baby boy. Then my mama was struck with horror when my Uncle John announced to her, this baby boy is being born with a split lip and a cleft palate. My mama knew the ramification of a child being born with such a defect. He would be ridiculed. He would be made fun of. He would not be accepted into society. Once again, my Uncle John told my mama that he knew another very fine medical doctor and surgeon by the name of Crawford Long. Between the two of them, they could perhaps fix this defect in my lip and my palate. But I was going to have to get just maybe a mite stronger before they could do this surgery on me, so y'all don't mind. I've got a little Dr. Taylor's lung medicine and expectorant. Medicinal only, you know. You don't mind, do you, ma'am?
It's all right with me.
All right with you? Perhaps you would like to indulge yourself. Man. Of course, it is good. Dr. Taylor's lung medicine expectorant. Well, if one does you good, then two ought to do you better, right? It's my theory anyway. I can tell going to work already. Careful, little ma'am. Dr. Taylor's good stuff. Like I said, my Uncle John told my mama that I was going to have to get just a mite stronger before they performed this surgery on me. And since I could not suckle like a normal child, my mama was worked to feed me with a shot glass and an eyedropper. My mama was a very intelligent woman, but I had to give up on that eyedropper idea. It was a mite too slow. There, I feel much better now. Anyway, I did get stronger. Dr. Crawford and my Uncle John performed surgery on me, fixed my lip, that cleft palate. But then it was not until I was age of 4 years when I began to speak. I had trouble pronouncing the hard consonants, you know, the Q's and the P's, also S's and T's. My mama had me baptized into the Presbyterian church. She would have the Presbyterian ladies come over and work with me and help me pronounce words that I had trouble pronouncing. They would show me pictures in the mail order catalogs, have me pronounce the name of some of these things that I could not say very well. I love my mama very dearly for this, for she did teach me how to speak correctly. She also taught me how to sing. Then when I went to school a couple of years later, I learned how to speak French. I learned how to speak Greek, Latin. In school, I excelled in the mathematics and the sciences. I was a very good student. My mama helped me along with this. My father didn't very much. He was too busy with his business holdings and his farm. Then, down in Georgia, there came talk of a war. Secession of some of the states. Some of them states did secede from the Union. Then that war did come. Some of y'all might have called it the Civil War. I'm here to tell you there was not one damn thing civil about it. It was a war of northern aggression. Y'all know when them Yankees come down and invaded America, all the Holliday men that was old enough, they volunteered for service in that Confederate Army. My father and Uncle John, they both enlisted in the 23rd Georgia Volunteers. Of course, my Uncle John was a doctor. My father went in the Quartermaster's Corps. Then, in just 3 months, my father was advanced to the rank of Major by President Jefferson Davis himself. My father did not spend the duration of that war in the military service. He was mustered out early with chronic stomach ailments. He came back home a very bitter man. He took that out on my mama and me. Well, that war did come to an end. But before it came to an end, my father had decided he was going to go out to a place called Valdosta, Georgia. He said, General Sherman's going to come marching through Tennessee. He's going to come up through Georgia. He's going to burn Atlanta to the ground. Since Griffin was only a stone's throw away from Atlanta, he decided to get me and my mama out of harm's way. he was correct. This did happen. Here my father had moved me away from my schooling, all my friends, everything I knew up in northern Georgia. I was not very happy about this either. My father was not a very nice man. Then, after that war was over, my mama became ill. Uncle John gave her a very thorough examination. He said, "Ma'am," said, "I hate to tell you this, but you are dying from the affliction of chronic pulmonary consumption. You have but a few short years to live." I was devastated. My mama was sick. I watched my mama suffer with that disease for 2 long years. I would clean her linen hankies for her. I would make her tea in the morning and evenings. Anything my mama wanted, I gave to her. Then one day, the good Lord come, and he took my mama from me. This was the saddest day of my life. I had lost my beloved mother. Just a few short months after my mama had passed away, and she was not even cold in the grave, my father remarried. He remarried a young lady by the name of Rachel Marc. This woman was only 8.5 years my superior. I was not going to call her mama, and I didn't. Felt kind of sorry for the young lady. She tried to get along with me, but I did not try to get along with her at all. Then, to add insult to injury, my father was promoted to the head of the Freedmen's Bureau. That was treason. Then all them Yankee carpetbaggers started moving in, and they started the reconstruction of the South. Reconstruction. I was becoming more and more rebellious. Oh, there was a little incident down at the courthouse that some folks say there were some young boys who went and tried to blow the courthouse up. You wouldn't believe that, would you, ma'am? I wouldn't have nothing to do with that. Other things happened. Seems like one day, me and some of my friends, we was going to go down to the swimming hole and have us a swim. We got down that swimming hole. There, swimming in our swimming hole, 5 little darkies. This was a whites-only swimming hole. We told them to leave. They would not. I just so happened to have an 1851 Colt's pistol with me that my father had given me. I took that pistol out and I fired over them little darkies' heads. I chased them clean out of that swimming hole. Well, by the time the news got back to my father, I had done killed all 5 of them. I assure you folks, that is not the case. Like I said, I was becoming more and more rebellious. My father, my Uncle John, seemed to think that maybe I should go and seek myself a profession. My Uncle John recommended the medical profession. Why? Any charlatan that set a bone or bandaged a wound in that war claimed to be a medical doctor. There was no honor in being a medical doctor. Didn't even need a license. But dentistry, the progressive science, you had to be licensed to be a dentist. I decided I would be a dentist. I enrolled myself in the finest dental school in the nation. The only problem with this was that it was up amongst a bunch of Yankees. Philadelphia College Dental Surgery. I enrolled myself in the 13th annual session. I paid my $5 matriculation fee, paid my $100 tuition, and I was thusly enrolled in dental school, where I studied for 8 whole long months. You find that humorous, man? How are your teeth? You got good teeth? You should take care of them. They cannot be easily replaced. I did go back to school after I had done some internship down in Valdosta. I studied for another year. I wrote my thesis on the diseases of the teeth. Then I graduated. Graduated with honors. Dr. John Henry Holliday, Doctor of Dental Surgery. Then, by prior arrangement, I went to Atlanta, Georgia, where I started practicing dentistry with another fellow by the name of John Seward, very fine dentist. Things was going along quite well. Even Uncle John's son, my best friend Robert, had decided he was going to go to dental school, that we was going to open up our own dental practice. Things were looking good in the world. Then it seemed like one summer, I began to lose a little weight, developed this nagging cough. All them doctors down in Georgia, they said, oh, you got just a little summer cold, it'll go away. Well, it never did. So I summoned my Uncle John once more. He gave me a very thorough bronchial examination. He said, son, I'm sad to tell you that you are suffering from the same affliction as your mother. You have chronic pulmonary consumption. You have but maybe 3 years to live. That is, if you go west to a drier climate. Once again, life had taken a toll on me. I was going to have to leave my loved state of Georgia. I decided I would head to Dallas, Texas. That day when I boarded that train, my father and his bride was there. My Uncle John, Aunt Parmelia was there. My Uncle John presented me with this diamond stick pin. Quite a nice going away gift. There was another young lady there by the name of Sophie Martin. Some of y'all might have called her a slave. I called her my friend. We were very fond of each other. You see, now little Sophie had taught me how to play a card game that was called skinning. Since I was very good at mathematics, this game, you had to count cards in. I became very good at this game. Not unlike the game of Pharaoh y'all play out here in the West. Little Sophie taught me how to play this game very well. I got so good at it that I could take little Sophie's matchsticks and pennies from her anytime I wanted to. I always gave her back though. She was my friend. She knew that she would never see me again. But she hoped that I would find somebody out west here who liked to play cards with me as much as she did. Boarded that train and the next stop was Dallas, Texas. Well, once again, by prior arrangement, I assumed myself a dental practice with a man by the name of Arthur Ford. We had a very fine dental practice going. He encouraged me to take some of my dental work that I had done in school and take it to the North Dallas State Fair, enter it in the science division, which I did. I'm proud to say But I walked away with 3 gold plates and $10 apiece. First place, best gold teeth. Best artificial teeth. Best artificial teeth on vulcanized rubber. I see you giggling back there, ma'am. You better thank that fella named Charlie Goodyear for coming up with that vulcanized rubber idea. Them teeth might better. Then it seems like there was a depression coming on again caused by them Yankees back east. The dental business was slowing down. I had lots of spare time on my hands. This is what I discovered, the St. Charles Saloon, downtown Dallas. They did sell a little painkiller in there. They was also playing a game called Faro. Like I said, it was not unlike the game of Skinner, the little Sophie who taught me how to play. Only in this game, them fools counted the cards for you. I found this game quite to my liking. I decided I would buy myself a Faro layout and I would deal Faro. I was making pretty good money dealing Faro. Then I tired of Dallas. Went on up the road to Denison. Y'all ever been to Denison, Texas? I would advise you don't go. Oh, seems like there was one little incident up there where I was arrested for, let me see how this went, drinking in a gaming establishment or playing cards in a drinking establishment. I don't know, but I paid my $5 fine. Decided I would head on up the trail. Made my way up to Fort Griffin, Texas. Quite a lively place, lots of buffalo hunters and soldiers, money to be had. Decided I would go see what West Texas was like. Went to Breckenridge, Texas. Then I made my way on up to Denver in the Colorado Territory. Stayed there a year or so. I was dealing Faro under the assumed name of Thomas McKee. Went on up to the Deadwood country up there. Seemed like there'd been a big gold strike up there. Lots of good money to be had, but might too cold for my lungs. Went on back down through Denver. Found myself in Breckenridge, Texas again. Seemed like one evening this fellow was in the saloon. He was causing me trouble. His name was Henry Kahn. This man would not leave me alone. Kept pestering me. I wanted him to leave me alone. He would not do it. So I took matters into my own hands, and I kind of beat him severely about the head and shoulders with my walking stick. That man left that saloon, but then he come back in. He was armed with a Colt's pistol. You know what that fellow did to me? He shot me in the hip. That kind of hurt. As I was convalescing and let my hip heal up, I told everybody in Breckenridge, you see that man named Henry Kahn? You warn him next time I see him, I will kill him. Stone cold dead. Well, the man was not as stupid as he looked. The last we heard, he had done vacated Breckenridge, and the way I understand it, he vacated the whole state of Texas. Not quite as dumb as he appeared. I healed up and decided I would make my way on back to Fort Griffin. Things had changed in Fort Griffin while I had been gone. Seemed like a man by the name of Bat Masterson had been there, got himself shot in the hip also. His girlfriend, Molly, was killed. There was lots of hunters, even more buffalo hunters, even some cattle drovers coming to Fort Griffin and the flats. Seemed like one evening I was in Mr. Shaughnessy's saloon. I was taking a break from playing Faro. decided I would play me some poker. Got myself into a poker game with a fellow by the name of Ed Bailey and a couple others. I had won about a dozen hands or so. This one particular hand, I knew I had won. The pot kept getting bigger and bigger. There was gold watches, diamond rings, $20 gold eagles. It kept getting bigger and bigger. Pretty soon, there was only two of us left in the game. Me and Mr. Ed Bailey. Then Mr. Bailey, he went fooling around the deadwood pile looking at them discarded cards. I warned him one time and says, "Get your fingers out of that deadwood pile, you're cheating." He commenced to doing it again. I warned him a second time and says, "Mr. Bailey, keep your fingers out of that deadwood pile." The third time I called him on it. I didn't wait for his response. I just commenced to rake in the pot. Since he was cheating and it was the rules, I won. Well, then, you know what Mr. Bailey did? That man come up from that table with a gun in his hand. He was going to kill me. I was a mite faster than him. I caught him right above the belly button, and I kind of filleted him open right up to his brisket. I found that humorous too. The marshal didn't. The marshal arrested me. He put me in the house arrest in my hotel room at the Atlantis Hotel. See, they didn't have a jail down in Fort Griffin. Well, word got around town that some of them toughs down there in Fort Griffin who happened to like that man, Mr. Ed Bailey, they were going to come and get me out of my hotel room. They were going to take me out and make old Doc's scrawny neck just a mite scrawnier. They was going to lynch me. Well, it just so happened I had met a very lovely Hungarian-born lady down there in Fort Griffin. Her name was Mary Catherine Haroni. Some of y'all might know her by the moniker Big Nose Kate. Don't know where she got that from. Anyway, she heard about this, so she decided she was going to go down and set the stables on fire, which she did. That evening she set the stables on fire. While they was all off and fighting that fire, Kate had acquired herself 2 Colt's pistols. She marched up them steps to my room in the Atlantis Hotel, found that deputy up there, and she took them pistols and screwed it in his ears and says, "You're going to let Doc go, ain't you?" Yeah. We went on down to the creek. We hid out in the brush overnight. We mounted up on them saddle ponies that Kate had got. We headed up the trail to Dodge City. You see, I had heard of this place, Dodge City. See, Kate had once before been in Dodge City. She was employed as, shall we say, a hostess.